Hello and welcome to today's video. This video is going to be my summer book recommendations. Basically just books that have a summery feel, a summery vibe, or I feel like would be enhanced in some way or other by reading in the summertime. There's no rhyme or reason. A lot of these are summery because they're set in summer. Some of them are summery because when I read them I wished it was summer, and honestly these are just all books that gave me summer vibes in one way or another. I will try to explain as we go through them why, but honestly most of the time it's going to be just vibes. Yeah, so that's it. I've picked out eight books that I just really feel give summer vibes, and we've kind of got a biography which is kind of not 100% a recommendation, we'll see why in a second, a middle grade book, a graphic novel, 3 contemporary romance-ish books. I feel like romance books are the ones that normally get recommended in summer videos just because like vibe, but I don't read that much of it, so I have still picked 3 out, but they're more contemporary. Like one of them is proper romance but the other 2 are more like contemporary and like just feature a little bit of romance, a cozy mystery and a magical realism. So yeah, that is kind of like how we're going to go through this, and that's kind of the order I'm going to say them in as well, to be honest. So yeah, is there anything else to add? I don't know. This video goes around a lot every summer, so I'm just jumping on the bandwagon here. Summer book recommendations that give a summery vibe. Let's get into it. So book 1, as I said, is a biography, and this is kind of a recommendation because this one's only going to work if you're a certain type of person who likes certain things. So I mean, I'm including this, but I'm putting it first just because I know that this isn't going to appeal to everyone. But if you may be like around my age, I'm like 25, maybe a bit older, maybe a bit younger, you might be aware of the very popular, I mean to be fair it's on Netflix now so anyone would probably know, but there used to be a very popular show called Gilmore Girls. And unfortunately if you haven't watched the show or didn't like the show, which is just wrong, but okay, this isn't a recommendation for you, but after this there should all be for everyone. But yeah, this one is just for fans of Gilmore Girls, unfortunately. So this is Talking as Fast as I Can by Lauren Graham. Lauren Graham is the actress that played Lorelai in Gilmore Girls, and this book is all about Gilmore Girls. It literally starts with like the original Gilmore Girls and ends with Gilmore Girls, is it called like A Year in the Life of or something like that, like came out like a couple of years ago. And it's so good. It's like a proper, like, it's written by her, it's biography style, there's a few like pictures throughout and stuff, but it's just so interesting, and being a fan of Gilmore Girls, really enjoyed it. However, obviously if you don't like it, you're not going to like this book. This isn't, the target audience of this book is people who already really like Gilmore Girls, and therefore are going to get a lot of enjoyment out of this. Yeah, obviously like I could read the back, there's the back if you really want to read it, you can pause it now and read the back. However, like if you enjoy Gilmore Girls and you just want the vibes, you just want some summer fun, it's a really quick book. And honestly, like I think the reason that I'm including this in summer book recommendations is obviously just vibes, but also this was such a quick easy read and such like a nice thing to read. I can imagine reading this at the beach, I can imagine taking this to the beach and reading it and really enjoying it, and yeah, just being like a nice book to take on holiday where you just want like books that are going to be like nice. Yeah, so that is recommendation number 1, Talking as Fast as I Can by Lauren Graham. On to recommendation number 2, which is the middle grade book. This is Amari and the Night Brothers, which is book 1 in the Amari and the Night Brothers series. This is so good. This is the best middle grade that I've ever read, and it is in the top 10 books that I read last year in 2021. And this doesn't necessarily give summer vibes in terms of like it's set in the summer, which is why I think it gives summer vibes the most. This is set during the summer holidays, and obviously being set in the summer, being set during the summer holidays is a good enough reason just to read it in the summer, but also just gave really cute nice vibes. It's not a cute nice book, well it is a cute nice book, but this is a fantasy novel, this is fantasy, this is middle grade, and honestly it's just so good. So we follow Amari, whose brother has gone missing, but everyone else just thinks he's gone missing, whereas she thinks there's more to it than that. and on the back it does say a strange invitation arrives and she gets the chance to join the magical bureau of supernatural affairs. And we kind of learn more from there, and it's cool, it's amazing, it's such a good book, and oh my god, there's such a big twist at the end and I did not see it coming at all. So yeah, really really good, like the first middle grade that's ever done anything like this, and like even taking it out of its age category, it still stands up as just an amazing book. And the second reason why summer is just the perfect time to read this book is because book 2 in the series comes out on the 30th of August. So you can read this one during the summer and then pick up book 2 straight away when it comes out. So yeah, would really really recommend this one. Then we have the graphic novel, and I've chosen volume 1 of the series because it's volume 1, but honestly any from this series would be perfect, and this is Heartstopper. Most people will have read Heartstopper by now because it's been an amazing, really big graphic novel series for so long, and also recently the TV show's come out, so obviously a lot of people are going to have either already read it in anticipation of the TV show or love the TV show and read it. However, if for some reason you still haven't read it, 1, I'd say read the graphic novels first, and 2, it's so good. And I would say especially books 1, 2 and 3, to be honest, because like 3 is like a trip, they go somewhere else, like they all just give cute vibes. Book 4 is a bit heavier, but it still is like such a cute amazing read. And yeah, I would just recommend this so much. Heartstopper is about Nick and Charlie, and I mean on the back it just says boy meets boy, boys become friends, boys fall in love, and you kind of get the vibe of what the entire series is going to be just from that. But it's just cute, it's nice, it's such good vibes. You can definitely read this in a day, you can probably read it in a couple of hours, to be honest. It is really lovely, really nice. I would 100% recommend, and this is definitely a book that on a nice warm sunny day you could take outside or take to the park or take somewhere lovely and just give it a good read. So yeah, would 100% recommend for a summertime read. Then we have the 3 contemporary books. These are in no particular order except for how I've stacked them up next to me. So first up we have Queenie. Queenie is first of all set in, like, not set in summer, but like a lot of it takes place during the summertime. I can definitely remember descriptive talks about that. And I think the first line on the back of this just describes it quite well as to why it might be a vibe. A darkly comic and bitingly submersive take on life, love, race and family. And it's so good. Obviously like it's absolutely stunning as well, but this book is really good. Like it's a contemporary book, and I'm not very good at recommending these or like describing these because I don't read that many of them, but this was just so good. We follow Queenie and it's basically just an exploration of her life, of everything that's going on, of problems that are occurring, of so much. Like it's so deep, it deals with so much, but although it is like darkly comic, which is how it describes it, but like it does get dark. But I wouldn't even say that it's necessarily heartwarming or like uplifting or anything like that, but it's just so good. This description is not going very well, but yeah, it's just really good. And honestly, this one is just vibes. I read this last year and it's just a summer book. Like, I don't know why I associate it like that. I don't know what exactly, like I can't pinpoint it, but this to me just screams summer book. Then the next one is Felix Ever After. This was amazing. I only read this last month and I cannot believe it took me this long to get to it. It was so good. So obviously it takes place in summer, which is amazing. Also, if you're watching this now, there is also a pride scene in it, like towards the end. There's a whole pride scene, so perfect time to read it as pride is currently like happening. Yeah, but overall, like any time in the summer, I just think that this would be the perfect read. It's about Felix Love, who has never been in love, and it's all about his identity. So the identities that are given on the back of this is black, queer and transgender, and he just wants his own happily ever after. It explores love, it explores wanting to be with someone, it explores bullying, it explores transphobia, it explores identity, it explores so much, and it's so good. Honestly, if none of that has appealed to you, then I don't know what else to say. Here is the back of the book. If you do want to pause the video now and read it, go ahead. But honestly, I don't think the back was the best description for me. I think reading the back was why I put off reading it for so long, because it made me so scared I wasn't going to like it, because I thought it was just going to be like a romance book. But yeah, it was so good. Felix struggles with so much, but there is a friendship group. There is the exploration of like going to a support group, of talking about things in such an open and caring manner. And this is just vibes. This is just everything. And I'm aware I'm saying that a lot for a lot of the books, but just trust me, if you haven't read it, read it. Before filming with this book, I've just tried to peel all the stickers off, and it looks even worse than it did because there's sticker residue all over it. But we're just going to ignore it because I really don't want to sort it out right now. So the third and final contemporary book, which is also like the proper romance book, is The Switch by Beth O'Leary. This is so good. Like, it's summer vibe. This is true, like, take it on holiday, spend a day in the garden, go to the park. Like, you know, you want it to be sun shining, you want the vibes, you want the whole like soaking it in, and you just want to read like a cute little romance. This is it. It's great, and it's great on so many levels. This is about Lena, who I think is like 20 something, but it doesn't actually say the age on the back. And it's also about her grandmother Eileen, and Eileen is like about to turn 80. Like, these are two like very different characters in very different times of their life. And Lena lives in London in an apartment with roommates, and the grandmother Eileen lives in like a little tiny Yorkshire town with like, you know, like a proper old person town, you know, like they've got the proper community. Like, yeah, there might be a few younger ones there, but like if you live in the UK, you know what I mean, like a proper small rural town, like a proper old person town, you know, where you might retire one day. That's how I imagined it in my head reading it anyway. And yet they're both at a bit of a standstill. They're both struggling quite a bit. They decide to switch, hence the switch. And Lena goes and moves into her grandmother's house, and Eileen goes and moves to London. And we follow both of these. It's dual perspective, and it's one of those books where you want to read both perspectives. Like, you're not reading one and being like, oh, I want to get back to the other. Like, you genuinely want to read both perspectives, and they're both just kind of trying to figure out life. I don't want to say much more than that. That's the problem. How am I meant to recommend this without giving away spoilers? Because it's so good for so many reasons. I was rooting for an 80-year-old woman to like go on all these dates. Like, I didn't ever think I'd be doing that, but yeah, I was like, go on Eileen, you get there, man. Like, yeah, it was a really fun time, and it's so different. Obviously, like, imagine a 20-something-year-old living in London with roommates, and then she leaves and her 80-year-old grandmother like moves into this building, moves in with these roommates who like don't know her, and this like young person like moves to, you know, a small little town where everyone knows each other and everyone's in your business. It's just so interesting. It's so nice, and there is a lot of romance in here as well. Like, it's not just about that. I would call this a romance book, but there are deeper and more interesting things going on there as well. And yeah, I would just really recommend it, and I would definitely say it is a summertime read. And then we have the cozy mystery, and this is The Thursday Murder Club. I don't know what else to say about this. It's a cozy mystery. There's a murder. We have a group of 4. Is it 4 of them? What? Elizabeth, Joyce, Ibrahim and Ron. Yeah. So we have a group of 4 80-year-olds living in a retirement home who've created the Thursday Murder Club, where they go through old cases and try to solve them. Already interesting. Already sounds like it could be a cool concept. But no, then a murder happens right on their doorstep, and they decide they want to solve that one as well. So they're like, you know, like, they're these little, like, oh, I don't want to sound bad, but like the little old people, how you'd imagine old people to be is how I imagine them to be, like these little cute old people. And, you know, they are, like, they go to the police and be like, oh yes, we could help, dear. Like, oh dear. I don't know. This is also set in the UK, and I feel like my interpretation of it might be different to other people who are outside of the UK, is all I'm gonna say. Because like, I do imagine like these little old like ladies and, you know, all of this, and like there's so much going on in this, but it's just lovely. It's cute. You could read it any time of the year, 100%, of course you could, but I just think it'd be the perfect summer read. I'm about to read book 2 in this series and I have been saving it until the summer, so I feel like that tells you as much as you need to know about like why it's just a summertime read and the explanation of it and all of it. And I just, yeah, if you haven't read this, I would definitely recommend it. I've only read like one other mystery in the last couple of years and I didn't like that one, but I really love this one. It's a proper cozy mystery. And then last but not least, we have a magical realism book, and I can tell you about the book and recommend it. I don't know why this is summer vibes. I have no idea. I think it might just be because I read it in the summer. But this is Before the Coffee Gets Cold. There's a small cafe in Tokyo and you can travel through time. Like, this is time travel essentially. Like, this is a time travel book, which is like the magical realism part of it. And the reason I'm kind of casting it as magical realism because it is very this world. And I feel like if this was a thing in the real world, obviously it isn't, or at least not that we know of, this is kind of how people would react. So there's this small little cafe and you can go there and you can sit in a chair at a certain time and get a special coffee poured for you, and you can travel to any time you want basically. Like, there's a lot of rules, like, you know, they get explained very well, and you can stay there in that chair in that time period and you just need to drink your coffee before it gets cold, and when you finish drinking your coffee you go back. There are problems with this, like if you don't drink the coffee in time you're stuck, you're gone, like it's a real issue. But you can travel, you can meet people, you can say things, but you can't move from that chair. So if you know that like a loved one or someone you want to talk to has been in that cafe at a certain time, yeah, you can go there and you can sit in that chair and talk to them. If they come up to you, you can't leave that chair and go find them, and you only get the amount of time it takes to drink your cup of coffee. And I don't know, like it's such a cool concept. And there is actually a second book that has now been translated to English. There is a third book that's out, but that one hasn't been translated yet. From what I can see online, it's only in Japanese still. It hasn't been translated to any other languages. And I believe there will also be a fourth book, but again, I don't know. But yeah, this is short stories, four short stories that are kind of weaved into one, and we as the reader can see how they interact with each other, but the stories themselves don't actually interact with each other. And yeah, it's so cool, it's so lovely, and just read it. If this sounds like anything that you might enjoy, just read it. So yeah, those are all of my summer book recommendations, at least for this year. Let me know yours in the comments, because like obviously I'll remake this video again next year if I've got enough books to also include like new books, and I don't have that many books that I'm like intending to read this summer that are super summer vibes. So yeah, if you have any, let me know below, let me know your recommendations. I do hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do give it a like, subscribe down below if you'd like to see more content like this, and hopefully I will see you next time. Bye.